Hi everyone, and welcome to F-Bomb Friday. I am your host, Tracy Preston, along with my husband, Todd. Hey, hun.
Hey, baby.
Are you ready?
I am ready.
Let's hit it. On today's episode, we'll be discussing the snake goddess of Belle, Michigan, the Great Lake State. It's a land of rugged beauty and rich cultural heritage. Long before the arrival of European settlers, this vast and varied landscape was home to a diverse array of Native American tribes, each with their own distinct traditions, stories, and spiritual practices. From the Ottawa and Ojibwe to the Potawatomi and Huron, Michigan's indigenous peoples lived in harmony with the land, their lives deeply connected to the rhythms of nature and the whispers of the forest. For centuries, these communities passed down their history, myths, and legends through storytelling, song, and ritual. Their folklore is a testament to the enduring power of the human soul, filled with tales of mighty spirits, shape-shifters, and supernatural creatures that roamed the woods, waters, and skies of Michigan. These stories not only reflected the tribe's deep connection to the land, but also served as cautionary tales, teaching important lessons about respect, love, honor, and the delicate balance between humans and the natural world. In this episode, we'll be diving headfirst into the fascinating world of Michigan folklore, discussing the legend of the snake goddess of Belle, segueing from a couple of other indigenous-rooted tales. As we journey through Michigan's Native American folklore, we find ourselves drawn to the majestic Sleeping Bear Dunes, a place where the winds whisper secrets and the sand shifts with the stories of old. The legend of the sleeping bear is an ancient one, passed down through generations of Native Americans in Michigan. The story itself is estimated to be over 1,000 years old, originating from the Cherokee, Ottawa, and Ojibwe tribes. Here's the first and likely the most well-known version of this legend. Years and years ago, in the great forest that covered the place that is now named Wisconsin, lived Michi-Magua, or Mother Bear, and her two cubs. One day, a roaring fire swept through the woods, burning everything from horizon to horizon, and driving Michi-Magua, her cubs, and all the animals before it. Soon, they came to a place where they could go no further, the Great Lake, Michigan. Like all bears, Michi-Magua and her cubs were powerful swimmers, and at her urging, they plunged into the lake. Michi-Magua knew there would be no food after the fire was spent, so she kept the light and smoke of the fire behind them as they swam east. Now, bears are powerful swimmers, and Michi-Magua and her cubs were fat from the bounty of the forest, so they were able to swim through that day and through the night. Somewhere in the dark, she lost them. Late the next day, she sighted the tall white dunes of Michigan. When she reached the shore and looked back, her cubs were nowhere to be seen. She called to them with no answer, finally climbing the dunes to look back. As the sky turned red with sunset, she saw her cubs struggling far offshore through the cold waters. Her heart broke as the first one, and then the other slipped beneath the waves. Heartbroken and exhausted, she lay upon the dunes for days, watching the places where her cubs had perished. The great spirit Geechee Manitou was moved by her sorrow and faithfulness and raised 2 islands, North Manitou and South Manitou, to celebrate the bravery of the cubs. Knowing that her heart would never mend, the Great Spirit laid a slumber upon Mishimakwa and drew the sand over her like a blanket, giving name to the Sleeping Bear Dunes. Another version of the legend tells the story of Chief Sleeping Bear. He was a revered leader of the Ottawa tribe. He was a wise and just leader who guided his people with strength and compassion. The chief had 2 sons, of which he was very protective. During a great famine caused by the fire, the chief carried his sons across Lake Michigan to a land of plenty where they would be safe and have abundant food. As they crossed the lake, the sons struggled and eventually perished in the waters. The father, grief-stricken, laid them to rest on the eastern shore and stood guard over them, never leaving their side. Over time, the islands where the sons were laid to rest became known as the North and South Manitou Island, and the mainland dune where the father stood watch became known as the Sleeping Bear Dune. In this version, the chief's vigil is said to have been so steadfast that he was transformed into a great bear, standing watch over his sons for eternity. This legend adds a poignant layer to the story, highlighting the deep love of a parent for their children. Both versions of the legend have been passed down through generations and offer a unique perspective on the origins of the Sleeping Bear Dunes name. And so, this leads us to our third and final slice of this folklore pie, the snake goddess of Belle Isle. Legend says the Ottawan's chief Sleeping Bear also had a daughter. The daughter was so incredibly beautiful that love-struck suitors constantly bothered and harassed her. Chief Sleeping Bear, concerned for his daughter's safety, as he felt many of the men had ill intentions, hid his gorgeous daughter in a canoe on the river and covered her with a white blanket. But even the wind god fell in love with her and her beauty and wanted to gaze upon her. He blew the blanket away, which pushed the canoe down the river, where she was kidnapped by a native who took her to his wigwam. The wind god, furious and remorseful for what he had caused to happen, befell on the man and beat him to death, and then returned the girl to Chief Sleeping Bear. The chief was disappointed, but still determined to protect his stunningly attractive daughter. He sent her to isolation on Belle Isle and pled with the spirits to keep her safe from harm. The spirits agreed, and they made her immortal. They also gave her the ability to change herself into a white doe at will as a means of disguise to avoid ever being captured again. The spirits also surrounded the entire island with snakes to keep the malicious men from searching for her. From that point on, she has been known as the Snake Goddess. To this day, people report sightings of the Snake Goddess of Belle Isle. She normally appears as an otherworldly lady dressed in flowing white garments. She also takes form of a white doe that escapes to the woods when spotted and approached by visitors. She does not seem to be a vengeful or violent spirit, but rather a sorrowful one. Perhaps as she was never able to live her life on her own terms. The Snake Goddess often appears near swamps or bridges, especially the bridge on Tanglewood Drive. Hikers on foot have often reported seeing her after stopping at the bridge. Motorists say they've encountered her by parking near a bridge and shutting off their motor. Others claim you must park your vehicle near a bridge or swamp around midnight, shut the headlights and motor off, honk 3 times, and the Snake Goddess will appear. Now, before it was named Belle Isle, it was known as Rattlesnake Island due to the large amount of water snakes found around the island. Now, on a side note, there have been an unusual number of deaths and suicides on the island. Over the decades, the bridges have seemingly been a popular place to jump to your death. Oh no, that's horrible.
There's a lot of sad story here.
There is. And, thinking about the very last thing that we talked about here, people jumping to their death, and if she was such a sorrowful goddess, which I get, a life of loneliness, like no one with her, maybe her sorrow overcomes people who are overcome with their own sorrow, and it's just, I don't know, something they can't take, and maybe that helps them to end it all.
Yeah, and it brings up the point, as parents, we want to protect our kids, but sometimes maybe we go a bit too far. I can understand Chief Sleeping Bear's, feelings about wanting to protect his daughter, but I think he went a little overboard.
A little. I wonder how old she was. I mean, she had to be a young lady. Right? Maybe in her late teens or so.
Right.
Who was he to keep her from having a mate?
Exactly.
Why can't she have one? Why can't she have her own wigwam, damn it?
It's not her fault she's drop dead gorgeous.
No, it's his fault.
Right.
Or his beautiful Indian queen.
Right. All those dangerous men, they wouldn't leave her alone. I think the chief was a little desperate to do whatever he had to do. It seems like it didn't work out quite the way he wanted it to. He tucked her away to be by herself for all eternity with only snakes as her friends.
And that's horrible.
That is horrible.
Because I'm going to tell you right now, I have some Cherokee.
You do? I know.
I do.
Yep.
And if you left me alone, or if my dad left me with snakes, that's freaking torture. I don't like snakes.
Yeah.
I know everything has its purpose, but snakes and alligators,
Yeah.
No, sir.
Yeah. They're kind of scary creatures.
And they're very scary.
Yeah.
I don't like them. And water snakes to boot?
Right.
Hell no. She couldn't even go swimming.
Have you ever seen a water snake?
Yes.
Okay.
I have actually, and I was a young girl, and I have no idea where I was. But I was with my family. I do know that. And we were somewhere where we were swimming, and legit there was a big ass snake coming toward me in the water.
Yeah.
No, don't ask me where my freaking parents were. Because I remember just being alone, and I was like, cats! And I hightailed it right out of the water, but it's very creepy. I don't like it. And, I'm sorry, one more. So in Charlotte, right, we had the gravel pits.
Right.
We used to swim there.
You did?
I did.
I never did.
And there was another snake there.
I think there was some ghost stories about that too, so maybe that's why I didn't ever swim in the gravel pits.
I don't remember ghost stories.
They were probably, just passed around, just to freak each other out.
Just enough to scare the shit out of you.
But I've encountered some water snakes before. Actually, quite a few times swimming in Lily Lake up at the cottage, when I was a kid.
They're always black,
And
right?
initially being freaked out, but you can't get away. If you're in the lake and you're swimming, and they really don't care about you. They want to stay away from you just as much as you want to stay away from them.
Well, not that one I encountered. That son of a bitch is coming right toward me. He's probably thinking, yeah, she's little.
He probably thought you were a water chicken.
Wow. That's even scary. That's even more of a frightening thought. Yeah, that's very clear in my mind. And I have not thought about that until tonight.
Right.
So thanks for that, hon.
You're welcome. Now, the first legend of the Sleeping Bear Dunes, I was very familiar with. I remember being told that story when I was a kid. Do you remember that story?
No,
No.
but I've been there.
Okay.
Have you been there?
Sleeping Bear Dunes? Mm-hmm. Oh, yes, many times when I was a child.
So you looked at it over the overlook
Oh,
there?
yeah.
You can see the image. It does look like a mother bear lying there.
Yep.
And two cubs lying there as well.
Yeah, and it's cool because when you're on top of the dunes, you can actually see the curvature of the earth. Mm-hmm. It's pretty cool. Yeah, I remember that very fondly from when I was a kid. We gotta go. I haven't been there since I was a kid, and you've never been?
No, I've been to Sleeping Bear Dunes.
Okay.
We drove through the park. Well, geez, I guess when Emmy was just maybe 2.
Oh, okay.
It's my only time that I've ever been there.
I never heard the second version before. I just stumbled across that, and I was like, huh.
Neither have I.
And they're very similar, with the parents losing their children. Different variations of basically the same story. The snake goddess, never heard of. And
Nope.
I wasn't even aware of Belle Isle.
Truth. Me either.
And it's a cool place. Another place we should definitely check out.
So why don't you tell us where Belle Isle is?
Okay, so Belle Isle is in the Detroit River, and it's between Detroit and Toronto. So if you're on the island, you can look in one direction, you can see Detroit. You look the other direction, and you can see Canada.
Now, for those who are not familiar with where Detroit lies in the mitten, it's near the thumb.
Yes.
Right? So we're on the eastern shores
Yeah.
of the mitten.
Yep. So it'd be like, I guess, where the knuckle of the thumb is.
Okay.
Yep. And on Belle Isle, there's a lot of cool attractions. I mean, aside of its natural wildlife beauty, which takes up 1/3 of the island, they have museums, aquariums, conservatories, beaches, trails. They have a place called Sunset Point. So at sunset, if you're looking toward Detroit, you can see the whole Detroit skyline really well.
Oh, I bet that's pretty
cool.
spectacular.
And so it's connected from Detroit to the island from MacArthur Bridge. So, and it's about a mile long. You can either walk it, ride a bike, or take your car. It does cost money to bring a vehicle onto the island, but
So once you're on the island, is it kind of like Mackinac Island, where now clearly you can drive over, but do you have to park in a certain area and then only walk? Like, how Mackinac Island is no automation.
Right.
Right? Bikes or walking or horses. What is Belle Isle like?
I'm not sure about that. I think if you are able to take your vehicle onto the island, you can drive it around.
Drive around.
Yeah, but it's not a huge island. So I mean,
How big is it? So we know that the perimeter of Mackinac Island is 8.3 miles?
all the way around. Yeah.
All the way around, just the
Yeah.
perimeter. So what about Belle Island?
Okay, so Belle Island is 1 just a little over 1.5 square miles.
Oh, okay.
So it's not super huge.
1.5 square miles.
Yep.
I always get that square miles thing all jacked up in my brain. I can't calculate that. I can't see that in my mind.
Okay, so it's 982 acres.
Thank you.
Yep.
Now, acres I can see. Don't give me that square miles business. Nope.
I could just see you doing the math in your brain.
It's not calculating. The math isn't mathing.
Well, so here's a comparison. It's larger than Central Park.
Okay. Clearly, if they have museums and all that kind of stuff on it, people must live there.
Yeah, it's got the oldest aquarium, public aquarium in the United States, even.
Is it full of snakes?
I don't think they have snakes. They have fish.
Fish. Great Lake fish?
Great Lake fish. Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, it's a cool place. We definitely need to check it out.
Put that shit on the list.
That's right. And maybe while we're there, we'll get a glimpse of the snake goddess. Probably in her white doe form, but hell, I'll take it.
It would be really cool if there's like a bed and breakfast.
I don't know if there's a bed and breakfast.
Google it up.
There is not. But there are near.
So there's not a bed and breakfast. Maybe hotels?
You can just stay on the mainland.
They're
I
not-
don't think there's any place to stay on
Okay.
the island.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, that's all right. It's a day trip.
Yeah.
And we can do that because we got the dogs. We got to come home.
Yeah. And I think it takes, well, from where we're at,
Couple hours.
less than 2 hours to get there. So
Okay.
not a horrible drive.
That's not bad at all.
Yeah.
Oh, great story, hon. Thank you.
You're welcome. And I love how rich Michigan is with Native American folklore.
I do too. It doesn't get told enough,
Yeah.
and it really deserves to be heard.
Yeah.
So I appreciate that.
Me too. Me too.
And I'm sure a lot of our listeners, especially Michiganders, appreciate it as well.
Yeah. And I'm sure there's more. A lot of the Michigan folklore is based on Native American folklore, so
We'll dig it up.
there will be more to come.
Dig it up. Well, again, thank you, honey. It was a great story.
Yeah, thank you. What'd you think of the artwork?
I love the artwork, minus the snakes.
Minus the snakes. Well, I only put a couple of snakes in the main thumbnail, but
There were plenty,
yeah.
believe me.
Okay.
Like, ew. Well, you want to sign us out, hon?
I sure do. You better lock your doors. You better lock your windows. And you might want to check under your bed.
And if I see those snakes under there, I'm grabbing a hatchet.
Oh, a hatchet.
I will whack the shit out of those snakes. But if I see the snake goddess, I'm going to invite her up.
Yeah.
I'm going to just hang out.
Yeah.
Show her some love.
Break out the charcuterie.
Yeah, like we'll have girls' night.
Yeah.
She deserves it.
You know what? Take her clubbing.
I don't club.
Yeah, but maybe she hasn't clubbed either.
She doesn't want to club. Well, I don't know. Build a fire.
Build a fire and
Tell stories.
tell stories about
Talk shit about her dad.
All right.
Girl time. Girl time.
Girl time.
She needs it.
She does need it.
Well, thank you, everyone.
Thank you, everybody. And we will see you again on Malice Monday.
See you on Monday.